Let's be real, you didn't click this video by accident. Something in your heart is tired. Something in your mind is screaming that this isn't what love should feel like. Maybe the arguments never stop. Or maybe there's just silence, the cold kind. The kind that makes you feel alone even when someone's sitting right next to you. Maybe you feel small, like every time you try to speak, you're wrong, dramatic, or just too sensitive. You keep asking yourself if this is love or just fear of starting over. You tell yourself it's just a phase. And the worst part is, you start to normalize it. You start to believe that maybe this is what relationships are supposed to be. Messy, hard, painful. That every couple fights that they're just stressed, that you probably overreacted, but because the relationship demands it. And the saddest part is that you love them so deeply, you forget how to love yourself. And even when it hurts, you whisper quietly, I can't leave. I love them. And that thought alone becomes the chain. Two people carrying trauma, acting out patterns, wounding each other, because no one ever taught them how to love gently. But while you can have compassion for that, you also have to recognize the limits, because no matter how much you care, you can't fix someone who doesn't want to be fixed. And you can't keep healing in the same place that's been making you sick. Because toxic patterns only break when someone stops dancing the same old steps. Playing the role, the whole dynamic has to shift. And if they care because you've invested so much. But you need to remember, love isn't supposed to make you feel invisible. If they truly want to grow with you, they will feel it, and maybe they'll rise with you. Boundaries that are non-negotiable, effort that is mutual, and change that is visible, not promised, over and over again without action. It's not about needing someone to survive. It's about choosing someone every day without losing yourself in the process. If you're carrying the whole thing alone, then it's not a relationship anymore. It's a performance, and performances eventually end. But toxic relationships aren't always loud. They don't always explode. Sometimes they rot in silence. Sometimes it's a pattern of control disguised as care, of criticism masked as honesty, of manipulation that looks like affection. You forgive too quickly, apologize too often, and slowly, piece by piece, you shrink, not because they tell you to. The clarity you're afraid of is also your first step to healing, because what we don't admit, we can't change. So now what? How do you fix something that feels broken but still matters to you? How do you heal a connection that also hurts you? The first thing is honesty. Brutal, deep honesty with yourself. Not polite answers, not excuses, but raw questions like, do I feel safe here? Emotionally? Can I speak without fear? Am I heard? Am I respected? Or am I just tolerated? Do we resolve conflict or bury it under fake smiles and temporary peace? It's not easy to face those questions, because deep down you already know the answer, and that answer hurts. But that's also the beginning. And here's something that's hard to swallow. Toxic doesn't always mean evil. Sometimes it just means unhealed. What you can do, though, is create space. Not necessarily physical distance, but emotional clarity. You can stop playing the role they've come to expect from you. Stop chasing validation, stop begging to be seen. And instead, you say with quiet strength, this is what I need. This is what I will no longer accept. And then the hard part, you hold that line even when it shakes, even when it hurts, even when it feels like love is slipping away. But sometimes, they won't. And that's when you're faced with a decision, your peace or their comfort, your truth or their denial. I'm not always terrifying. A healthy relationship doesn't mean no fights. It means fights that lead somewhere. Conversations that heal, not ones that leave bruises. So if you're trying to fix something broken, know that it takes more than words. It takes honesty that cuts deep. Watch the patterns, not the apologies. See if behavior shifts or if it just resets. And ask yourself, am I growing in this relationship? Fixing a toxic relationship is possible, but only if both people are willing to face the mirror, to own their damage, and to do the work. If the relationship is worth saving, both of you will fight for it. Not through drama or guilt, but through presence, consistency, and real effort. But if they don't show up, if they stay comfortable in chaos, then maybe the most powerful act of love is walking away. Not out of hate, but out of love for yourself. Letting go doesn't mean you never cared. It means you finally cared enough to stop hurting. It means you finally chose you. You're not too much. You're not broken. and you're not impossible to love. But you are responsible for protecting your own heart, and sometimes the bravest thing you can do. Stop trying to fix what keeps breaking you. You deserve a love that feels like peace, not a war with your partner. And maybe, just maybe, letting go of the wrong thing is how you make space for the right one to find you. If this message found you in a hard moment, know that you're not alone. Drop a comment below if you needed this, or share it with someone who might be hurting in silence. And don't forget to subscribe if you want more content that speaks the truth. It's not just the comfort. Take care of your heart always.